Half a year seems like a long time in tech. On release we praised the Note 9, but also didn't hold back on some criticism of the software and pricing. Now it's had time to come down in price and improve thanks to the addition of Android Pie. Is it now actually a better buy? One of the major issues with the Note 9 at launch was that it came with Android Oreo rather than Android Pie. So far we've had to wait around about 5 or 6 months for the update to roll out worldwide, but it does change so much that it makes the Note 9 even easier to recommend as a result. Hardware-wise, the design does seem out of sorts with the rest of the industry, but it's still objectively one of the best looking devices thanks to the lack of display cutout or notch in my opinion. Whilst most of the industry and Samsung themselves are set to introduce the display punch hole to the S10 line, the Note 9 is a final hurrah for Samsung devices with no display adornment that makes them more attractive in my opinion. The forehead and chin are nice and uniform with more than enough display to contend with. If Samsung does manage to stretch out the Note 10 further without adding a punch hole, then I think it will be an even better purchase. It's still kind of hard to believe that in 6 months an entire design can seem old just because of a few industry changes. I think Samsung nailed design and years of incremental improvements still make this the best looking Samsung phone on the market. Going back to the software, and with the Snapdragon 845 or Exynos 9810 depending on your region, as you can expect it still manages to fly through absolutely everything. Of course you'd be worried about longevity if it struggled with the One UI overhaul, but I'm pleased to say that it feels as fast as it did 6 months ago. Combo that with the display and the Note 9 still offers one of the best user experiences on the market, simply from a hardware standpoint. The display is still the best I've ever seen on a smartphone, and it will likely be only bested by the S10 and S10 Plus when they're finally released. I think One UI also enhances this overall experience massively, although I'm not a huge fan of the way Samsung has implemented their gesture system. The interface feels much more snappy than it did over Android Oreo, but again that might be a placebo effect. Although this update makes the device feel almost brand new, such as the massive overhaul over Samsung Experience UI. I must admit I have been using the S Pen so much more than I ever did with the Note 8. The updates and improvements make it much more usable in general day-to-day life. Battery life on this 6-month-old unit isn't quite what it was upon release, but it still manages to power through a day and a bit with no problems. Device charge speeds though seem more disappointing, with other flagships offering faster charge speeds, which makes the Note 9 seem a little bit archaic in comparison. That said, it isn't slow, it just feels slower by proxy. If you were worried about battery life on this older unit, I wouldn't worry at all. It's a 4000 mAh cell and it manages to power me through 5 to 6 hours of screen on time with absolutely no issues. An area I can't say has fared quite as well is the camera on this device. This seems like a bit of a strange comment, as the camera on the Note 9 is still one of the best on the market. It's just that it is being bumped down behind the Pixel, iPhone XR, XS and even the Mate 20 Pro. The reason it takes a bump down is software additions like Night Sight and Night Mode mean that in low light conditions the Note 9 simply can't compete. Then the dual aperture 2 is a little bit of a gimmick unless you know what you're doing with the Pro modes within the camera. Daytime shots though taken in auto mode are still absolutely exceptional, and the video modes are top tier. So as you can probably tell from everything you've seen and heard so far, the Note 9 is still a superb device that really pulls no punches. The addition of Android Pie helps it stay one of the best options on the market, even more so now that the price has come down quite a substantial amount and will likely get even further reductions once the S10 hits the market. If you're currently looking for a smartphone, the Note 9 is most definitely one to consider if you want a top tier device but are happy with a slightly older designed handset. For those of you already with the Note 9, let us know how your handset is holding up in the comments section below. There's also a couple links if you want to check out the Note 9 for yourself, as it's arguably a better overall purchase than it was at launch. Then before you leave, remember to subscribe for more content just like this. But this is Damien for 9to5 Google saying thanks again for watching, and I will speak to you later.